Provocative, sexy, sci-fi. Hi guys, it's Amesh.
I'm Asuva.
And today we are reviewing
Dawn FM.
Whoa! So, Dawn is officially the sequel to Weeknd's 2020 release, After Hours.
After Hours seemed like a balance of his old moody alt R&B hip hop stylings and the new 80s
80s synth pop fusion.
Yeah, and it was. Yeah. I feel like it was quite a good balance. Like he found a nice way of combining the two, putting his own spin on it. This is him committing to the latter. He's gone straight to he's gone very heavy into synthwave, vaporwave, electro pop. Like he's explored all of that in a lot more depth.
And I think it's definitely with purpose. And I'm glad he said this is like an official sequel to After Hours, because, bruv, you know I love a narrative. Oh. You know I love a narrative. And damn, is there a narrative?
Does it take you on a journey?
Took me on a journey, boy. Took me on a journey. Like, okay, so if we do a quick recap of After Hours, where that album leaves off, he's bleeding out at the end of After Hours.
Oh shit! He's dying. Oh,
yeah.
I that.
You taking a piss? Are you serious?
I genuinely didn't realize that. Out, and now he's in this purgatory, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's a perfect way to describe Dawn. Dawn is an 80s synth pop dance party in purgatory. He uses the motif of driving, right? He's on a highway, he's driving and he's tuning into the radio station. He's driving towards this white light, the white light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing. And
I think the whole radio station thing, Dawn FM, like this is his most cohesive and conceptual album yet.
Oh, and it's so conceptual, like
he's completely committed.
Good.
This is someone that respects the album as an art form.
Yeah.
And all the world building around it.
Yeah.
I actually think the singles, if you look at sort of just the songs individually, they're probably not as strong as they are on some of his previous albums, but if you look at it as a whole, the holistic vision and the thematic consistency means as an experience, it's a very
except for I Heard You're Married.
Oh, gee, we'll get onto that. Oh, my
except for Lil Wayne out here doing too much.
You're listening to this radio station, which is sort of guiding you through this purgatory. And what I really respect about it is that he doesn't have to do all this. If you look at all his contemporaries, if you look at sort of who is in the male pop sphere, Bieber, Drake, guy from Maroon 5,
Trey Songz,
Sheeran, Post Malone. I don't think Trey Songz is anywhere near as famous as those guys.
Up echelon, okay, cool.
Yeah, so many of them are so content and just regurgitating an inferior version of what they've already done. And I'm not saying he's the first person to do like an indie screw, like he's far from the first person. He's definitely inspired a new wave of imitators in his lane. And then he's shown them up again by setting his own path. Like he's discarded a lot of what defined his earlier music in terms of production. And I think part of this is him bringing on two people to be very heavily involved in the album. One is Max Martin, who is, Swedish pop legend, pop titan, pop, like hits for the last 20 years that you've been listening to.
Electronic god.
Yeah. Another one is the experimental electronic artist, One Tricks Point Never. And both of them are just all over the credits. And I think they've been instrumental in shaping the sound of this album. And I feel like this album is also a bit different to other Weeknd albums in the sense that the production actually takes a step forward, where usually it's his vocals front and center all the time. Yep. Whereas I feel the production is a bit more in the limelight than it usually is.
Yeah, and for good reason. He's trying to create an intense soundscape for you to escape in. And by God, what you mentioned before, like singles on their own may not make sense, but when they're together, like the transition between How Do I Make You Love Me and Take My Breath, my God.
Just like when it came, like, this disco Daft Punk influence sort of song, I was like, okay, this is cool. But then when I heard the album, the context of the album, with the build-up, it just becomes this whole epic moment.
Literally, you can't help but just melt at the pure bliss of the transitions the first bit of the album is like this trip down memory lane, like your last memory, your lifetime just flashing before your eyes, and then it breaks it up. So it goes banger on banger on banger. It goes, how do I make you love me? Take my breath, sacrifice, and the epicness of these tracks just increase as you go on. And then there's a break. It's like all right, you're living for your life, and then let me stop here. And here's a random skit by Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones, a legend in the music industry. Yeah. And it's just like this kind of sad kind of skit where it's just
I think he's trying to put some nuance into himself by using Quincy's story to be like, yes, I have these terrible relationships with women because of some past trauma. And then the next song, Out of Time, talks about his own trauma. He sort of mentions it. And Out of Time is my favorite song on the album.
Oh, because it works great as a song.
It sounds so Motown as well, which is very fitting coming after.
Because it's a brilliant song, but then it works. It's a key tool used in the album, because then you've got. By the way, Jim Carrey is the voice on the radio here. He's this dystopian voice that comes in and out of the album, and he uses, and just like the song, you are now out of time. Like it's so like it's so scary yet calming because it was Jim Carrey.
It's kind of Black Mirror, isn't it? The whole concept.
Perfect. Literally like super Black Mirror, man. Man, look at this guy. Look at this guy, my F.
Well, whilst we're on Out of Time, though, like I really like how it samples a Japanese city pop song, because this is a genre that's been sort of growing for a while. And it makes so much sense with the Weeknd sound. It's a song called The Midnight Pretenders by Tomoko Aran. It has this blissful, carefree aesthetic that melds perfectly here. That first sound that you hear, that sounds like, sparkling piano keys that are descending down. I saw this on YouTube. It sounds like a rare Pokemon floating by. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. What's your theory on the three parts? So the first part, he's bleeding out. The second part,
the first part is like literally he's bleeding out and his life is flashing before his eyes. And the name, there's so many dawning moments on this album for me. Your life flashing before your eyes, then the kind of realization that, oh shit, I'm dying, and also I've lived a shit life. And the third dawn is like come to terms with that. And trying to change, but then it's kind of too late to change because you're dying, bro. You want to go back, you want to be a different you have this regret. And that transition between the second phase and the third phase is every angel is terrifying.
What did you think of that song? I really like where it's going. I do feel a bit blue balled, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
By the radio. I do appreciate what it adds to the world building, and again, it adds to that dystopian sci-fi vibe. But at the same time, I want to hear the rest of that song, man.
Mate, do you know what it feels? Do you know what it feels like? It feels like, in like the original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when they're going through the river and there's like so many like lights and stuff. It's a transition between I'm on a normal road and it's like, oh my god, I'm realizing I'm going to heaven. It's like flashing. It's like everything.
I do like it. It's sort of like overwhelmingly epic. Like this alarm sound building, this train especially when arpeggios in the background.
Literally, when I was driving, I felt like oh my god, we're being taken to this new place.
Okay, so that's what you think the sort of narrative is. I didn't quite get that. I did get a narrative from After Hours. I got the whole,
especially with that ending as well, the Phantom Regret by Jim, like that kind of monologue, the spoken word bit. It's just like, you're dead now, and what lessons we need to have is like, if there's no such thing as heaven, or if you want to enter heaven, you need to be heaven.
Yeah.
And I thought that's such a nice refrain.
Well, for me, the narrative was more, After Hours is him hitting rock bottom, and then Dawn is obviously him trying to turn a new leaf. Like he's man, my man's fixing girls' mushroom tea. Like, Mr. Fisty Puppet. It's like, let me get you some tea, honey. Like and then I think he still falls away. Like he finds it's not as easy as just turning a new leaf. Don't Break My Heart, which is sort of his most vulnerable moment and one of my favorite songs as well. You got this tender bed of synths, you have this electro pop beat peppered at the top, and it has all these haunting vocals on the outro. And then, who is that deep voice? I don't know who it is, where he's just like, and now we're dancing now. Who is that? I love that shit.
Funny. Yeah. I thought it was funny. I feel like it's such a like that a trope of that era.
The next song, which is the worst song, is I Heard You're Married. Which is a shame, because narratively it's actually very interesting to me, because it's him going, Why are you so deceiving? If you're with someone else, why are you cheating?
Why are you just like me?
Like the irony is like it's not lost on me, especially like Groovy Bridge, just before the Lil Wayne verse. That Lil Wayne verse, it kills a song for me. Like,
it's trashes feature. Like he's had a really good string of really good features.
Yeah, he can do so many flows, and then he just slurs like an auto-tuned frog. Like he just completely phones it in. He's just like, and then he kept after his verse, he stays in the song. He's just in the background, just being like,
Yeah. And well, first of all, how do we miss the gasoline? Like his voice moderation and gasoline is what?
When I listened to that for the first time, I was like, is he gonna do this for the whole album? Like, cause that album is him as an old man, right? So like, is this? But that's the thing. This is what I rate about him. Like, he takes creative risk on the album more so than he does on his previous album. He has this pitched down old man voice that kind of sounds like those 80s Britpop bands like Tears for Fears.
Literally.
For me, the production is really good on this album. I like, especially on tracks like Best Friend. That analog bass is so thick. It's got this
Best Friend. Hold up.
Bass line.
Is there someone else?
Oh, I like that. That has a nice bass line, but I really like the psychedelic pitched up vocals. I think Less Than Zero is something I could hear being on the radio all the time. You know, it has that breezy vibe. He's over like an acoustic guitar, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like with all these string swellings. I quite like the ascending synth arpeggios and the angelic backing vocals, but it was that stadium banger sound. Like he was dangerous to going into like, this is a Coldplay song now.
Yeah.
He was treading that line carefully. He was treading like, and I was just like, all right, this is calm for one. It actually works in the context of the album as a closer. It's fine. It's good. I'm enjoying this. You're doing your own spin. I hope that's not the next stage. I hope it's not a whole album of that.
This album raises a lot of question marks. Like, where is he gonna take it next?
I hope it gets weirder. I hope it gets even weirder. I hope he gets people like Magdalena Bay to do like more 80s stuff. And I hope he has like more songs like Every Angel's Terrifying.
Literally.
But at the same time, I don't think he will, because he's so into the pop side of it. He's got Max Martin on half this album.
Yeah.
So my favorites would be, if you're going to listen to one song, for me, it would be Out of Time. I also like Don't Break My Heart, Best Friend, Is There Someone Else, and Give Me Gasoline as well.
Cool. So like the whole album.
That was fine.
Good.
And particularly Out of Time.
Out of Time. For me, Take My Breath, Sacrifice, 2 bangers, man. Just 2 bangers. I love the Tyler feature on Here We Go. I thought that track G-Unit. I thought that track worked really well. Same, Best Friends, and Is There Someone Else? I thought it was really cool as well. I really like that kind of distorted vocal they used as in the instrumental. That very pitched up vocal. I was like, that took me back to kind of the old days of Weeknd, the old kind of
it did give me that trilogy.
Balloon House vibe. But House of Balloons.
Balloon.
But yeah, man, just all in all, it's a really good album. And that Jim Carrey, it was a good left field choice as a person to narrate this. Yeah,
I agree. I didn't really know what to expect, but he's not overwhelming, but he just subtly sort of helps tie it all together.
How can be menacing and soothing at the same time?
Yeah.
Rating time.
What
are you going to give it?
So After Hours was my album of the year 2020. So obviously
our album of the year 2020.
Oh yeah. So I had high expectations coming into this. I think this is actually better paced than After Hours and probably more cohesive, but I still think it edges it out a little bit. Love how he's completely embraced the whole synthwave thing and how he's gone into this as a fully formed concept and has respect for the album as a whole. For me right now, it'd have to be an 8 out of 10.
Brilliant. For me, I think it's amazing. I'm a sucker for a narrative, so I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Strong start.
Strong start to the year.
Like, January usually is just a bit dead. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's just usually a bit more empty around January time, I feel.
Yeah.
But people they're just dropping the seeds.
Kendrick, where your album at?
Be patient, brother.
Was that? Are you trying to do the thing he did on Family Ties? Be patient, brother.
A little bit.
Yeah, I see you. I see you with that reference. Give me that.